Bueno, buenas tardes a todos los que nos están viendo y bienvenidos a nombre del Instituto de Cultura Hispana de Houston. Mi nombre es Yolanda Velasquez y este es nuestro último programa de nuestra porción Spotlight México y tenemos el gusto de presentar a alguien muy especial para el Instituto de Cultura. Ya en un momento les doy su presentación. Ha sido realmente 8 semanas de arte, cultura, experiencias musicales y nos llena de orgullo poder continuar con esta iniciativa. Voy a cambiar a inglés porque nuestros invitados, pues la idea es hacerlo de alguna manera para todo el público y a partir de este momento, pues espero sigan con nosotros en lo que sigue de este programa. Today, I have the pleasure to introduce or present Dr. Isaac Reichman. Dr. Raijman is from Mexico. He's a gastroenterologist here in Houston, and he has been a figure for the Institute as a, a sponsor of our scholarship program. He's an artist, and also he and his wife are the founders of the foundation Healing for the Arts. So he represents in a lot of ways what we embrace, and we want to, our message, education, culture, diversity, and we are very proud to have him and very honored to have him as a guest tonight. To present them and, talk with him and talk about his story and his achievements, we have Dr. Randall Stenoien. He was our president in 2018, treasurer now and member of the board of directors of the Institute of Hispanic Culture. And, a figure and a leader in his own practice and his own expertise in the radiology area in Houston. He has been also a role model for us, the board members, and the force, I would say, behind everything that we are doing now and the initiatives we are working as an institute right now. So with no further ado, I guess I will pass the microphone to Dr. Stenoien, who will start with this afternoon program. Randy?
Good evening, everyone. Muy buenas tardes. Bienvenido. I want to talk today about a very special friend of mine, and without going into his curriculum vitae, Dr. Isaac Reichman is a gastroenterologist of local renown, of international renown. He's trained in Mexico. He's one of the people that's not just a doctor. He's really more of a Renaissance man. He loves people. He loves art. He's respected in his field. He brings a sense of wisdom and understanding and caring to the field. And I really want to focus really on your story, Isaac, because we've been friends for a long time. I remember the first time I met you at Park Plaza. It was in a very dark room, and I was driving the floral table, and Dr. Reichman has got his scope, doing some sort of exotic endoscopic ultrasound examination of the pancreatic duct. And we chatted, we had fun, but it always impressed me that here was a virtuoso in what he did. Every single case was amazing. Every single case was successful. And he brought a sense of excellence and dedication to what he did. It really didn't matter how long it took. At the end of every procedure, as we walked out of the room kind of sweaty, covered with our lead, it was always kind of a smile to say, man, that was truly amazing. So I met him first professionally. I met him doing his métier, his work. And then as time went on, we became friends, and I learned that there was a lot more to Dr. Reichman than just being a fantastic gastroenterologist. So I'd kind of like everyone to get to know, and me to get to know a little bit better, Dr. Reichman, where he came from, how he came to be, and kind of what he stands for. So maybe you could tell us where it all started in Mexico, Dr. Reichman.
You bet. Thank you so much for that kind of introduction. Not to say that I've known you now for about, quarter of a century? Not to get ourselves too old.
I'm not going to admit to that.
So I was born in Mexico, in northern part of Mexico, in Sonora, in a small town of 5,000 people. And when I was 7 years old, we moved to Mexico City. Our parents moved us to Mexico City. Grew up there, Then when I was 16, I lived in Israel for a year. I worked in a kibbutz, which is a communal farm, if you will. And then I went back to Mexico and went to the National Autonomous University of Mexico, where I did medical school. And that is the one school that you were referring to on how many of the people that founded this community, the maker community in Houston, came from. And we have many friends that we share with that arose from that university. So I finished medical school there and then went to University of Wisconsin in Milwaukee at Mount Sinai Hospital, where I did internal medicine and chief residency, and then moved to Houston for the first time in 1989. And that's where we started knowing each other. I did gastroenterology here, did a year of basic research, and then I did clinical. Then moved to Canada, to Toronto, to do therapeutic endoscopy, and then came back to Houston at the end of 1993, November of 1993, and I've been here since then. At first, I was with full academic practice at the University of Texas in Houston, and then I moved into private practice in that was 1993, about 1997. And then I've been in private practice since then with appointments at Baylor and the University of Texas. So here I am.
You know, I'd like to go back to UNAM, you know, because I know so many fantastic physicians here in the medical center. One of my mentors, Dr. Marcos Calderon, you know, Tony Alvarez, Victor Rivera, I mean, a leader, a giant in the field of MS. Giants in the field of cardiology. I think very few people appreciate what a treasure the Medical School of Mexico City, UNAM, has been, and how much incredible expertise and knowledge and really academic resources that this group of people has provided the Texas Medical Center. I mean, without a lot of the members of that university, I don't think the Texas Medical Center would have been as great as it is today. So I think people underestimate the quality of education in Mexico City.
I completely agree. Many of the columns of this community have been built from people that came from that university, and that goes into a multitude of subspecialties. And what this medical center was back 40 years ago and what it is now, it's in big part due to what came from the UNAM. So we're very proud of it.
You know, one of the things that strikes me is a lot of people take the same path as you do, and they start off in a foreign country and they pass their exam, and they go through a training program, but very few people attain the level of excellence that you've attained. What do you attribute your success and your drive to? Because, I mean, you obviously didn't stop with a residency or a fellowship. You kept carrying your curiosity forward and your energy and your passion. I mean, what kind of defined your path?
You know, it's interesting. When I was in internal medicine during my fellowship, the one subject that I was taught the least was gastroenterology. And the hospital I was at was really big into hem-onc and cardiology and nephrology. So that was sort of the path expected, but I was not really taught gastroenterology, and I got involved in it. I really developed a passion for it. I liked the diversity of it and the use of the endoscopes. And when I was doing my fellowship, that's when endoscopy really started coming to this country. And that really started my curiosity in it. I got into GI. I loved the field, and I liked endoscopy. And back then, I knew that endoscopy was going to be the way of the future. I sort of thought that I had the skills to do it, and I had an inventive mind to develop equipment and to develop accessories. So that's what I did. I took that path, and I pursued an advanced therapeutic endoscopy fellowship in Toronto. And when I came back here, we started doing a lot of things that now we give for granted on a daily basis. Back in 1993, there was really not many doing it, except for maybe two of us. and now we're many. So that's really what led to it.
And I want to share with everyone here that, you know, we have doctors and we have doctors that take care of doctors. Whenever we have a difficult case that, you know, we really don't know where to send it, Isaac is one of those resources we use to achieve the impossible. And I mean, he's such a tremendous resource for us. But let's change topics here, because you're sitting in front of this beautiful painting. And,
Yeah.
and I remember early on looking at some of your paintings, and I like your paintings. But I have to admit, I like your paintings now a whole lot more than I did before. So when did you become interested in art? And when, you know, what was the story?
I like my paintings now better than before.
No, it's a growth. You know, you keep getting better.
Yeah, I started painting when I was a child, and not really painting, but drawing. And I remember when I was 7, 8 years old, I used to come back home from school, and I would watch some of the cartoons, and they used to be cartoons with futuristic cars and kind of weird looking people. So I would watch a show, turn the TV off, and then out of memory I would draw. And I continued to draw, and my friends at school would ask me, hey, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? So that's really how I started with drawing and using ink and coal. And then I painted my father's face, and then I started painting monks, only the rope without legs and without faces, and it just took me off to what you see now. And it's been a path of about 45 years. No, actually 50 years. And here we are. So red is my favorite color, balance. And I'm a true pro balance on feminism and the beauty of life and the strength that life gives us when we're challenged, and we can keep balance, which is what painting behind me represents. So that's where we are. Since for the last 3 years, we have the arts of healing, as you know, and Yolanda was alluding to at the beginning of the show, which we started, actually we, as in my wife, did 99% of it and I did 1% of it. So she took on this, and we've been having that, and ever since I've had this fuel further passion to painting and the arts, and this is what you see now. This is one of the latest figures. So.
No, and I see in your paintings a lot of strength. I see a lot of beauty, and I see an affirmation of the feminine within all of us, as well as outside of us. You know, from just a personal observation, you know, I see a lot of physicians who are struggling with their careers. I deal with a lot of issues of physician wellness, of depression, and of burnout. And I think Isaac is a really good example of how you continue to grow personally and continue to become a stronger and a better person. How has your art helped you be a better doctor?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You have to have a balance in medicine. Medicine is, it really consumes you. And if you let it, truly you can drown in it, because it's so demanding. And you have to be able to keep a balance of medicine and family and your own health and the other side of the brain. And that keeps you focused in life in a better way that if you are just, you know, drown in papers and complain about the system. That's what I've done for a long time. And, you know, gratefully here I am, passionate about medicine equally as I was 30 years ago, just keeping a balance around me.
You know, I want to talk about the arts of healing a little bit more. And behind the camera is inspiration for this. But I've attended all of your events, and what Dr. Reichman and Lori Reichman do is they bring together a lot of like-minded physicians who are sharing their art and sharing their vision. And it's such a blessing. It's so satisfying to see these physicians who have branched out from medicine, because we love medicine. We become totally invested in what we do, but at the same time, there has to be more. For me, it's my gardening, it's my studies, my reading, and then my medicine and my family. And together, you know, I still love what I do. And I know that Isaac loves what he does, but you want to mention how great a job your wife is doing on this? Because it really is amazing. What are some of the things you've helped accomplish with the funds you've raised?
You know, one of the things that I'm very fortunate and very grateful to is the fact that I can diverse from medicine in something that I do along with my wife. We do it together, so it's not just a single plane of variety, but it's inclusive with the family, and along with my wife, we have included, you know, friends and some family, and all along yourself in the arts of healing. And the arts of healing is it's a representation of the medical community in Houston that has some base of art of some form, whether it is audio or visual, including photography, dancing, whatever it is that is art-led with the community, and is given a voice to the physicians from a non-physician standpoint, which makes it beautiful. So now you can let your artistic side talk for you and not your medical side. And what does that do? It brings the vulnerable of you to the forefront. And that takes a very different, a very diverse pathway. And along the way, we have expanded the arts of healing to include some charities that will include the Sunshine Kids, and we're doing some. And when I say it's we, it's my wife ought to take all the credit for that. Where it involves women in art or the heart of the art, things of that nature. That is all encompassing, community included. We like to involve the community. We like to bring a little bit of sunshine to, you know, adults and kids and all around.
I really like your comment, a little bit of sunshine, because as you were talking to me, I'm thinking about sunshine and how do we who are mature in our field, who have the opportunity to influence people, how do we bring sunshine to our colleagues, our young physicians in training, our patients, our community? Because I think everyone needs a little bit of this sunshine. We're in difficult times, obviously. There's a lot going on. How do you see your role and perhaps my role in the future of kind of mentoring this new generation of doctors that are moving up?
You know, there is one saying that I really like, and I really think that I live by is, you drown if you fall in the river, but you drown because you keep submerged in the river. You have to fight to get out of the river, and life is a river, right? It has many currents. We'll go forward and backwards, and we'll have rocks, and we'll have fallen trees along the way, but you just keep afloat, you keep on going. And for all people out there, you just have to find that keeps you fired up, the one thing that you wake up with and you say, oh, I'm going to do this, I want to do this, and then have someone by your side that you say, I want to do this with this person. And that, it can be your wife, can be your girlfriend, can be a friend, can be people at work, can be anyone. But you know, we cannot do all this alone. So you have to have those people around you that will help you along the way. But you have to push yourself, and you have to find something else besides paperwork and you know, signing papers and charts and stuff. So you just have to keep a balance. Have to keep your wide horizon open and look to the right, look to the left, and you have to look for the light.
No, I agree completely. I tend to think of this as a sphere of influence. And, you know, we can get distracted with the newspapers or the news or the politicians. But at the end of the day, we have a circle of close friends and colleagues and maybe a little bit more distant. And by being leaders in our fields, as you are, and by doing things the right way, and by struggling to make sure that you always stay above the surface of the water, to do the best you can for yourself and patients. That's how we set an example, and that's how we show other people how to be successful in life.
You know, one thing that we do is we can only control our own universe, right? It's your own space. But you have to remember that your universe is in contact with the universe of someone else and the universe of someone else. And it becomes a trickle. It becomes a domino effect. So what you do with your universe, it will have an impact on someone else's universe. And you have to keep really that at top of your head and just do what's good for you will be something that is good for everybody else.
Well, I've enjoyed your thoughts and your talk and what you're sharing with us. Is there anything that you would like to add to our little interview here? I want to kind of say something about my experience with the Institute, but any additional bits of wisdom you'd like to share with us? I know there's a lot out there, but
hopefully wisdom is one of those things that we never run out of.
Exactly.
But, you know, I'd say all I can say is, you know, be grateful that you wake up and you can talk and think and walk and enjoy that day the best you can. And tomorrow is a different story. Just keep adding pages to the book and along the way have something to enjoy. So I think everyone knows that, oh, it's empty, sorry.
I have a little tip. Salud, Dr. Reichman.
Yes, right.
Salud.
Everyone knows that I like tequila, and you know, I'm off right now, so I can enjoy tequila freely.
Yeah, we're both off
it.
that one, okay?
It's just,
I do want to add, and then we'll let Yolanda kind of hop in at the end, and there may be some questions. But I do want to add that Isaac is one of the people that has helped expand my universe, working with the Institute and meeting some of the, you know, really enthusiastic and passionate and caring individuals that have participated in the Institute of Hispanic Culture, for me has increased the richness in my life and will continue to increase the richness of it in the future, because life is beautiful. You know, we stay above the water and we keep fighting and we keep fighting
Absolutely.
together. So it's just been a great pleasure to be your colleague and most importantly, your friend.
oh, it's been my pleasure, my honor. I'm looking forward to another 100 years of it.
30 or 40, 100, yeah.
You know, and
Yolanda,
there is an expression that we have in Hebrew as well as in Spanish. There is until 120.
there
right?
you go. Until 120.
Yeah, you know why 120, right?
No, 12 is a special number.
That's how old Moses was when he passed.
There you go.
Oh,
That's the expression. Until, you know,
Importante aprender una cosa cada día. Gracias.
every day you learn something new.
Every day.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it.
oh, guys, you know, it has been interesting and fun to see you talking. But, you know, I like your comment about we can control our own universe, but really what we do affects somebody else's universe. And we have to be always aware of that, no matter what. And I remember you know, when I asked you about the scholarship you gave to the Institute and some words about, you know, the dedication for that scholarship, you mentioned your father's words, Jose Reichman, and you quote some of his words. And I would like to go back to that. Why do you bring that statement? What was exactly what he brings to you in your life that makes you to help us with the scholarships and to help the youngest people here?
Yeah. You know, along the way, we've been fortunate to have others that help us and move forward. And we reach a point where you're satisfied with what you've done and you want to have people to follow some of those steps. At some point, we won't be here. And someone has to be behind us. Well, let's just open the way for those people that need to, that don't have the means, if you will, but they have the courage, they have the knowledge, they have the will to do it. Let's just help them all the way through.
No, and I remember, you know, it was like an honor to him that you bring that, but I think we always have an inspiration, and that came back, and I was impressed because that came back to your roots and your family, and that was really nice. And seeing you now so successful and accomplished in every field that you tried is really impressive. So I really admire that.
Thank you.
So-
Yeah, well, I come from a family that came from bad environments. They needed to escape. They needed to come and create a new life and build and never waste and help those along the way. Life is a ladder. We're going up, and then some people are going down. At some point, we're going to be going down. We want to say hi to those going up. So it's a two-way street.
It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
So I guess, from my point of view, a last comment from you guys. I would like to know, or I'd like to have your last remarks on education, how your life has been changed because of that. What is the message for younger generations, or for the people that is following us and the work we are trying to do, promoting the arts and culture within the Houston area?
Yeah, education is key to future. What we know now and what is going to be in the future is going to be different. And we have to educate for what we know, the people around us, and what we are, what we know of, we can teach that. But education in every science possible to keep on moving forward. Otherwise, we stagnate. And the only way to do that is to bring the mind to the forefront and preoccupy what we can do and how we can help and educate, as opposed to just living to live. That's just not the way to do it. We have to push forward. The envelope is heavy. We have to push it.
Yeah,
And I think may I add something here?
Sure.
The world is changing very quickly, and higher education, which used to be a guarantee of success, I don't think is the same guarantee of success. You can still be a lawyer, you can still be a physician, but for a lot of people, they're going to have to work hard and continue to re-educate themselves and reinvent themselves, because the world is changing very quickly. And there are tremendous opportunities to do so on the web, with different universities, with non-universities. We all have the ability, as I said, to learn something new every day. And I think those of us that learned that at an early age, and I would put Dr. Reichman clearly in that camp, have one step up on everyone else, because we continue to be open-minded, to see the opportunities and to see, really what's out there. So, just keep learning, keep striving, keep your mind open, because the world is changing and you got to keep up with it.
I echo those words completely.
Okay, and I think that kind of, close our little presentation here. I really, feel honored to have you both guys talking and learning, feeling the way you feel, and having the opportunity to know more about you, to know more about your roots and the way, you bring the tequila, the arts, the culture, everything from your background to a successful career here in the US. And that's like an example, and is something that we should all celebrate, as is the purpose of this program. So thank you, Dr. Reichman. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Stenoien, thank you so much for your time, and thank you to everybody who attended this program. And I guess salute with the tequila for the next time we see you.
Next time we do it in
Okay.
person. Next time we do it in person.
I totally
We have to
agree.
do
Completely agree. You all stay well and stay healthy.
Okay, thank you, and thank you to your PR person. That's very important. Bye, Lori. Okay, have a good night, guys.
All
Thank
right.
you, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Isaac, well done. Thank you.